Stephen, as we try to normalize Youth Sunday. I want to thank God for everybody who participated. And I do want to say this, that we have some exciting news. At the yard sale, we were able to raise $300. I cannot commend enough the efforts of every single person that donated, that prayed, that sacrificed their time to make this a great event. No part was too small. We wasn't able to do what we were able to do last year, but every penny that the kids were able to save definitely counts. We want to say thank you for that. Also, you all did get an email today because Tina has been working tirelessly to get this Kroger Rewards thing on started. And now you get an email telling you how to get your Kroger Plus card to resonate with this church, and a percentage of every purchase that you make will be added up into a check that will be written to this church every 3 months. It will not affect your points, your gas, anything like that. Okay, so I just want to say that nothing changes. My prayer for you all, when you get signed up and you'll get paperwork next Sunday, you will, Shadi will be out there with a laptop, help people sign up if you need it, to challenge your friends and your loved ones to support the ministry here. There's a lot of work to be done in this community, and we want to be here as long as possible. So most definitely, I thank God for this opportunity. And all you do is shop at Kroger. That's it. That's all you have to do is shop. Get your groceries there, get a church there, all Kroger. So I thank God for that. Beyond that, I don't have the title sermons. But since it is customary to do so that we can go forth, teach our nations, baptizing in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost, teaching them to obey all that God has commanded us, which is the Great Commission, which is something that we are unworthy to do. But whom God calls, He qualifies. And so, if I had a title sermon, it would be Untitled Sermon number 7. We'll continue to go higher than that, I hope not. But right now we're at number 7. And as we look into the scripture today, I want to say, first and foremost, that we serve a mighty God. And I know that I haven't been up here, so I'd love to get my feet set for a moment. I just wanted to express myself that we serve a mighty God. And maybe, I don't know if I expected something a little greater than 2 or 3 amens, but we just serve a mighty God. Amen. All right? I just want to be in a place where I confirm that we all understand to whom we serve, to whom we praise, to whom we devote our life's work so that others may come to the working, saving knowledge of this God. Every day I see the growth, and I wish I could share every story that I have, but God is doing some great work. I mean, it's fantastic. The lives that are changing in this community, even in this church. If you look to your left and to your right, knowing what I know, you're looking at 4 to 5 people that has made life-changing moments and decisions in the past week alone. I'm not saying it wasn't saying beforehand, but God is doing some great things in this place. It's important that we share that message, that we live our life living in the light of this one true God, this Alpha and Omega, this beginning and the end.
Amen.
I don't know what I'm saying to you guys. I just want you to know that God is doing some great things. He is real. He is alive. He never sleeps. He never slumbers. He's not to be mocked. He will protect His name. And He's interested in the things in which interest each and every one of us. Talk about spending some time with each and every one of us. From the beginning till now, yesterday, today, and forever. God is with us. God is the same.
Amen.
Oh man, can you say that about anybody else?
No.
Nothing else is ever the same. But God is consistently working things out for not just my good, but for the good of those that serve Him, for the good of those who love Him. Situations that start out bad, the Bible says that all things work for the good. Come on, man. How selfish of a world do we live in to understand that we serve a God where all things work out for the good, even things that are meant to destroy us. God is turning it around. Things that are meant to confuse us, God is turning it around. Things that were meant to break us, God is rebuilding us. This is the God that we serve. Let us enter His gates with rejoicing sounds and loud voices and hands raised, because this is a God that we're unworthy to even know. But He always seeks us, knocking at the door and saying, if any man answers, I will come. And to Him, you cannot find any a philanthropist that would ever just freely, continuously give of themselves when the people that He's meant to give it to consistently reject it. But this mighty God we serve is forever reaching His hands, arms wide open, saying that I will open up a window and I will pour out a blessing.
Glory to God.
Oh, this is the God we serve, the same God that shows Himself in our lives so that people can come to know not us, because who are we to serve God? Who are we in the presence of God? What is our righteousness compared to God, so that other people can see Him? You would turn to your Bibles to Acts chapter 17, 22 through 31. We find that Paul is standing in front of the Areopagus. Some of these in quotations, you find that in there, those are my personal notes. Don't know how to get on there. That's all right. Then Paul stood in front of the Areopagus and said, Athenians, I see how extremely religious you are in every way. I mean, they worship a lot of gods and follow the rules to satisfy a lot of gods. For as I went through the city and looked carefully at the objects of your worship, I found among them an altar with the inscription, to an unknown God. What, therefore, you worship, which means that you worship, as unknown, this I proclaim to you. The God who made the world and everything in it. He, the Lord, who is the Lord of heaven and earth, does not live in shrines made by human hands, nor is He served by human hands as though He needed anything, since He Himself gives to all mortals life and breath and all things. From one ancestor He made all nations. The true translation means from one blood He made all nations to inhabit the whole earth. And He allotted the times of their existence and the boundaries of the places where they would live, so that they would search for God and perhaps grope or reach or feel for Him and find Him, though indeed He is not far from each one of us. For in Him we live and move and have our being, as even some of your own poets have said, for we too are His offspring. Since we are God's offspring, we ought to think that the deity is, we ought not think that the deity is like gold or silver or stone, an image formed by the art and imagination of mortals. While God has overlooked the times of human ignorance, now He commands all people everywhere to repent, because He has fixed a day on which He will have the world judged in righteousness by a man whom He has appointed. And this he has given, and of this he has given assurance to all by raising him from the dead.
Yeah.
Before we get to the next slide, brother, I just want to say a few things, man. And you know what? There is so much to thank God for. I was recently around a gentleman in the hospital, maybe a month or two ago, and it plays into what we're talking about today. He was seemingly a healthy guy. I mean, I didn't know him his whole life. Everyone in that room, when I got pulled into it, I was there visiting somebody else and was given the opportunity, the great honor to sit in with this man on his deathbed. And he was telling me his life story. So if you have a minute to give me your life story, I said, man, most definitely. And he was talking about how he was a military man. From the military man, he became a police officer. And then becoming a police officer, he became a crossing guard for kids at school. And in the midst of all that, he was on the usher board, he was on the deacon board at his church. And he said he devoted his life to all things that were godly and good and protecting the people. And he was telling about his wife and his kids and how he worked out, he jogged, he run. You would think this guy was just the Adonis of hell. Okay? And he said, I started to get some coughs every now and then, some pains every now and then. And I really didn't think it was going anywhere, so I didn't say anything because I felt like it was normal. And he kept going through these motions, and he said, I kept thinking that it was normal, and kept thinking that it was normal, until one day I passed out. My wife took me to the hospital. I've been dealing with it for years. And the doctor said to me that whatever the illness was, and I think it was, I forgot what exactly the illness was, but it was something that was definitely curable in the early stages. What happened was, because he didn't examine himself, or go to the doctor, get it checked out, this thing that was inside of him got worse and worse and worse, to the point where it showed in all of his life, everything he did, this sickness started to show itself. And so now, there he was, in the 82, on his deathbed, saying that if I just would have had it checked out, I really was honest with myself, where I was in my health, in my situation, then I could have probably lived another 10 to 15 years. That was him on his deathbed. The doctor came in and said, if you would have just let me examine you honestly, then we could have fixed this 10 years ago. And then we find ourselves in this story with Paul. And Paul is staring at the hill of Areopagus, which is where all of the councilmen and the high-to-do thinkers and the decision-makers, the lawmakers, are all seated. And Paul says to them plainly that I see how religious you are. I've looked through your city. I've examined your city. I've looked everywhere. I looked at everything that you worship. You got to think about how big Athens was, what the short walk. Paul invested time and effort in examining every shrine, every religious artifact that they ever worshiped. But then he comes to the point and says, but in my search, through all the things in which you worship, all the things that make you religious, all the things that the Athenians were proud of their religious prowess, their knowledge, and all the shrines they built to worship the God that they served. He said, but there is just this one altar that you worship. And it didn't make it seem like it had its own shrine or just kind of tucked. Make it seem like it was just tucked somewhere. That says, to the unknown God. And that really, we have to get to that where we really think about what that means. It's like saying Athenians or Belrones or Christians of all people. What God is saying is that there is a place in to all of us that is just tucked away inside of us. That is a space for doubt and fear, a place, an altar built to whatever can come our way in life that we can devote some trust and some faith in. God is saying, Paul is saying, you're worshiping this thing. You're saving a space in your worship. You're saving a space in your devotion. You're saving a space of doubt in the other things that you do to honor God, to say that if something else comes along, I am going to give it my time and my effort to this. For some of us, it's a scale of things. For those of us who are still in high school, it could be your job when you get out of school. You're saving a place in God. You can occupy all this space. God, I'm giving you everything else, but there's just one bit of doubt and fear, and I'm reserving it for something that can settle in me what you cannot. But you got to think of the Athenians worship the God of the lightning and thunder. They worship a God that would carry the sun across the sky. They served a God that would hold the earth on its back so that it wouldn't change. They served a God of wisdom. They served all these different gods that did all these different aspects in life, but they still couldn't get a handle on the one thing that they were missing. So they were able to say, this altar that we worship, that we pray to, that we sacrifice things for, is for a God that we haven't met yet, that does something that we don't know yet, that we're going to appreciate when we find out. And what we have to come to as a church today is to really examine our walk with Christ and the falling out that we do for God, and find out where that space is, where that altar is, where that thing inside of us that causes us to step out of the will of God and trust man over God, to trust coincidence over God's providence, and really find out who God is. But Paul wasn't done with the people yet. Yes. Paul said, well, let me tell you about this God. He said that the God who I'm talking about here, he goes back to Genesis and says, well, this God that I'm telling you about, because you're worshiping this unknown God, and I'm going to tell you who this unknown God is. You have all these other shrines in this place, and you're serving all these other gods, but the one God that I'm coming to you to talk about, from one blood, from one person, he created all things. Which is hard for the Athenians to believe, because they believed that we were made from the gods, and first it was the Titans, and the Titans came the gods, and the gods came creation, and creation came demigods, and this was that cycle. But he was saying, from one person, this God created all that we see today. He said, not only did he do that, but this God is so great, and I know that you think that your gods dwell in these shrines and these temples, just like we think God dwells in money and in lust and in our addiction to computers and things of that nature, and it lies in what we can do for ourselves. Paul said, but the God that I serve, he's too big to dwell in anything made by man's hands. So this God, you can come with every precious metal that you have. You can come with every bit of dough that you have. You can come with everything that man has made. And this God is greater than that, because he created the things in which you created this thing out of. He is so expensively large and big, but yet this same God is so close to us. And he's telling the Athenian people, and I'm telling to the church today, that this God whom we serve, this Yahweh God, this Jehovah God, this Alpha and Omega God, this God is so big and created all things. And some of us already know this story and it's repetitive to you, but in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was with God. This is the God whom we serve, this God who speaks, and it is no doubt about it. Yes. That he came and he made earth and said, this is good. But not only did he do that, but he began to say, well, I need to do something else. And he made man in his image. And he breathed life into him. I just want someone who's doubting God to understand this is real. For someone who has room for an altar to an unknown God, that this is the God whom we serve. Right. Yes. This God who made all the world's things, being both heaven and earth. That this God who establishes the boundaries of our dwelling. This God created the oceans. This God saw this tectonic shift and saw everything separate and said it was good. This is the God that ordained your birthplace, ordained your place of ministry, ordained the people who are going to speak to you, and ordained you to be here in this place at this time. This same God gave you the gifts and the talents and knew what you would do, even though some of you are just now understanding who you are. This is the God we serve. And Paul is telling the people, you don't need these other gods. You don't need to have doubt and fear, worship everything that you worship, to devote your time into anything else, worrying about, did I upset this God? Did I upset this? Did I mess this up? He said, if you devote yourself to this God, he said, in him we live and move and have our being. This God is the reason why we breathe. This God is the reason why we live. In this generation, people are searching for relevance. They're searching for who they are and what niche group that they mostly identify with. And identity has become this weird, binary, fluid thing where you can be this one day and be that the next. And it's all confusion. And what Paul says to the people is like, this one God created you. This one God has the answer for you. This one God created the boundaries in which we operate in. This one God cannot live in buildings. This one God yet is so far away and wholly other time, space, and matter, but yet is still so close to us. Amen. Yes. So when it comes to worshiping God, we have to stop and say that there is no hands in this area. Nothing we can do with these hands can match what God can do. Nothing that we can control in our own being can match the direction in which God wants it to be. And no way we can walk that can match the path in which God has laid out for us. There is no friendship that we can work hard to establish that will be greater than the relationship with God. There is no marriage. There is no one-night stand. There is no drug that can gratify and satisfy us like God can. There is no house that can be built that can protect us like God can. There is no military that should put our faith in that can defeat enemies like God can. There is no words I can say to you to change your perspective like God can. There is no answer I can give you that can solve your problem like God can. There is nothing I can do in this human body. And I know we live in a world where we can even print out 3D objects and they keep coming out with these cool things, but there is nothing that I can print that can do a job like God can. Amen. So we have to make sure that in this life that we live in, we recognize where our unknown God lies, where that altar is. That we're saying we can do this on our own until yet we identify who is going to help me in this area, or we identify who can get this person away from me, or who can help my family problem, who can I run to when I need love, who can I run to when I need joy. Whatever we built this altar where we're saying whichever can fill this thing up, and you're asking, how do I know I have this altar? It's only when you continuously fall for people or something or some objects that do nothing but separate you from Christ. Yes. And this man that I'm talking about in my story, he was just saying, like, everything else was healthy in me. I was still a deacon at the church. I was still an usher at the church. I was still a crossing guard person. I still had every capability that I had, but there was one thing on the inside that kept showing itself to me, and I kept saying it was normal. I kept saying it's okay, it's me getting older or me not doing what I can do to help myself. Some of us in our spiritual walk, we are saying these things, and we need God to come in like Paul to the Athenians and search through everything we deem religious, search through everything we deem for God, and search for everything we deem to be walking this Christian walk, and find and bring to our attention where this unknown God altar lies, or we're letting sex, drugs, TV, materialistic objects, distractions come in and satisfy it for a moment, and then we go back to searching for someone else. Interesting fact about the altar of the unknown God is when they discovered a new one, they would just put the new one in the place of the unknown God and then move the unknown God down, because if there's one, there has to be two. If there's two, there have to be three. And we keep on moving it down until they discover it all. But it was an unending cycle of searching for the God that they must appease. And Paul was saying, listen to me about this God whom I serve. And he's saying not only that, but this God, he did all this so that you could search for him. You're searching for a God. You're searching for an answer. You're searching for someone to fulfill a need, searching for an answer. He's saying this God who made all nations on the earth, who allowed the times of their existence, this is how powerful this God is. This God did this so perhaps that you would look for him, you will reach for him, and ultimately you will find him. We have to continuously search for God's will in every situation that we're in. Continually reach and seek him first. For in him we live and move and being. In him we find rest. In him we find peace. And there's nothing that we can build to turn into who God is. And then he makes this very, very bold statement. And this is a statement that every pastor, every preacher, every evangelist, every Christian should make to every time they find someone who says, what must I do to be saved? Someone who says, okay, what do I have to do to find this Jesus? In front of these decision makers and lawmakers, he says, repent.
Yes.
I mean, you've been worshiping these gods for years. You've been searching for answers for years. You've been doing things against your own moral code. You've been doing things that didn't feel right, didn't sound right. You've been doing things because everybody else has been doing it around you. You've been saying things because people said it's okay, but deep down in your heart you felt like it wasn't right. That's God speaking to you. You've been in places that you didn't feel comfortable, but you stayed because your circle of influence said you should go, you should do it, but you didn't feel comfortable. That's God's forbidden grace talking to you. You go to church every Sunday and you feel good and you leave the same. And you feel like, why should I go to church? But that's God speaking to you, because all you need to do is be 100% honest with yourself. Search yourself and repent. Say, God, I'm sorry. And not like what you do when you're a kid and you slap your brother and your sister and their mom makes you say you're sorry, but come from a place where you understand the previously mentioned God that we serve. This God from creation. This God who through the Bible has interwoven himself in covenant and promise and fulfilled every single one. This God that has made the impossible possible. This God that has caused oceans and seas to split. This God that has rained food from heaven. This God that made predator lay down their life. This God, when Abraham was going to sacrifice his blessing, provided a ram in the bush. This God that told Moses to take his shoes off because where I am is holy ground. Yes. This God that also told Moses, I know what I'm going to do, and did every impossible feat that he said he would do. Every plague came to pass. Every promise was delivered just like he said he would. This same God that protected his people in the book of Judges, when they got an unfair king, he raised someone up to step up and make things right. This same God that when they were outnumbered made the enemies fight themselves, this same God is working on your behalf. Yeah. What am I saying? This same God who sent his only son, he turned water into wine. This same God who sent his son, who walked on water and then invited Peter to do the same. This same God who fed people who he knew only wanted to be fed, but he fed them anyways. This same God who told the people that you will betray me, but yet he served them genuinely. This same God made it known that it is not by his work, but it is by his Father's work in which he lives. This same God who stood next to Barabbas and said, hey, I know that you're going to vote for you, so I'm not going to say a mumbling word and allow Barabbas to be free. That is an act of grace. This same Jesus.
Lord.
Oh man, I just want you to know that he was beaten all night long. And I know that you say that often, but even the flesh fell off his bone. I don't know about you, but I can cry over a paper cut. But this Jesus whom we serve, who is part of this triune God, took every beating and still in the process forgive them, for they know not what they do. How can we hold on to unknown gods?
Lord.
When this one God does nothing but repeated the same thing. Come to me, all you sick and heavy burdened, and I will give you rest. What type of people are we that we run from rest?
Lord.
All we need to do is repent. All we need to do is to present on our altar to our known God every unknown God that lives and dwells in us, every doubt, every fear, every insecurity, every bit of selfishness, every bit of us that serves us, and give it to him and saying, for God I live and for God I die. And whatever happens between us, a casualty of war, that's repentance. It's saying, God, hey, listen, there are things inside of me that aren't like you. God, I just want to say I'm sorry. I believe in who you are. Please come into my life. God, I'm sorry for what transgressed last week, yesterday. God, whatever thoughts that are like you, whatever steps I take that are like you, God, help me to dig it out. God, search my city. Search my city. But don't ask God to do it if you don't want him to do it, because he's liable to show you things that you have close-fisted. Things that you hold on tight to. Things that are your safety net that you don't even know are not of God. He'll pull those things out and say, this is what I want you to give to me. Because that holds your heart. That holds your decision making. That holds you from the blessing in which you have yet to receive. That's when I want to pour out a blessing, but you keep on deflecting it because you're covering up the cup with whatever selfish attitude you have, that it's all about me, that my problems are greater than the next. But God is saying that I won't overload you. In fact, he said in his word to take on my yoke, for my yoke is easy. Cast your burdens onto me. How selfish of us to say, God, I love you, but I'm going to hold on to all my problems. And then I'm not going to pray about it because I'm so frustrated with all my problems. And I'm going to tell you, well, God, why do I have all these problems? And God is saying, cast them. Cast them on to me. Cast them on to me. God, I am sorry for really holding on to things that you've already worked out. God, I'm sorry for thinking cynical of your grace and your mercy, by not really devoting my actions to you. God, I'm sorry for doubting you to be real, by holding on to my own plans. God, I am sorry for not trusting in your word, but rather watching TV or rather doing things of my own than holding on to the word of God. God, I'm sorry for not using the word of God to win victory over the enemy. These are things that we're holding on to. We're holding on to it, and these tombs just pop up. These altars just pop up. And every time we go to our stuff, we kneel at that altar with the unknown God. And we're saying, dear unknown God, do what God can do. As that man sat there, dying, he said, Pastor, the only thing that I regret about life? Because I don't regret much. I lived a really good life and know to Christ. He said, I regret one thing that goes spiritually and physically. He said, I regret not really having a true diagnostic done on me. This is a man who was surrounded by, I mean, you couldn't get in the room. It was like a room full of people that were just sitting there. She passed out the door, which she did right after I left, actually a couple hours after I left. And he said, if you could pray for my family, don't pray that they do anything else, but constantly let God examine them. Constantly stay up on their physical as well as their spiritual health. For every push-up that they do, Pastor, I want you to pray that they get stronger in the Lord. For every physical that they go to, help them, Lord, pray that they're able to come to Christ and know it at the altar and say, God, whatever part of my spiritual blood pressure that's not a part of you, God, fix it. He said, because there's no pill that can fix your soul. There is a God. He said, it's funny that we can go to the dentist every 6 months, we don't like it, but we go. But God is saying, I'm easy, I'm planning these things, and we can't even do that. Let us all stand. My prayer for you today. The same prayer that I prayed for that man's family. Is that we are so concerned with the temple of God, which is the body, as we are with the sanctuary of God, the house of God, the church of God, which is also the inner body. That we get this diagnostic check. So that whatever inside of us doesn't reflect God, we can repent and give it to Him. Come to Jesus. Come to Jesus. Come to Jesus. Just now. The altar's open. Come to Jesus. Come to Jesus. Just now. He will save you. He will save you. He will save you just now. He will save you. He will save you just now. Only believe. Only believe. Only believe just that. Only believe. Only believe just that. Wholly trust Him. Wholly trust Him. Wholly trust Him. Just that. Wholly trust Him. Wholly trust Him. Yes. Just now. Come to Jesus. Is somebody else? Come to Jesus. Come to Jesus. Just now. Come to Jesus. Come to Jesus. Just now. Only believe. The altar's still open. Only believe. Only believe. Just now. Yes, Lord. Only believe. Only believe. Just now. He can save you. Do you believe it? He can save you. He can save you just now. He can save you. He can save you just now. Dear Lord, once God, we thank you for grace and mercy. It is in you we have faith. It is in you we have trust. It is in you, Lord God, we live, we breathe, we walk, we talk. Lord God, it's in you our blood flows. It is in you our heart beats. It is in you, Lord God, that the activity of our limbs are able. It's in you, Lord God, that our nerves flare. It's in you, Lord God, that everything in us is in us. It operates in such a way, Lord God, that even our brightest are still discovering. God, help us to find in us this altar that's in us, that's to an unknown God. This offering that we place on this altar, which is a part of our life that we haven't given to you. God, it's not easy to give thanks to you, Lord. It's the hardest thing we could ever do. But God, help us to know, Lord Jesus, that if we're not giving it to you, then Lord God, we're not doing anything about it. Help us, Lord God, to act on our faith. Help us, Lord God, to not be Christians of liturgy, but be Christians, Lord God, of every part of our anatomy. Have every part of us be a part of you. Take this religiousness inside of us and make it a walk dedicated to you, a talk dedicated to you, a thought dedicated to you, a heartbeat dedicated to you, so we can have an existence, Lord God, that is dedicated to you. We ask this in the master's name of Jesus we pray. Amen.